What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Who You Got With.
Mellow.
And Rado is a sports podcast where we talk about your favorite sports debate, sports highlights, and sports matchup. And just this weekend, it was a crazy fight week.
UFC 273, hell of a card.
And we here to talk about it for sure. Crazy fight week. I know you saw it, right, Mello?
Boy, I'll be honest. The whole card was just pretty good. We had fights all around. Even we had a women's 115 division fight. That was a good one. Just a lot of grappling going on. But pretty much the top three fights was all just not what I say people expected because of winners, but definitely what people expected when it comes to action-packed a combat fight.
Crazy action. What we wanted. Every single fight was crazy action. I mean, honestly, one of these fights, and we'll talk about it in a few minutes, but was the craziest fight that I've ever seen this year for sure, and maybe in the last few years. So.
No, obviously a lot of great contenders. 2 belts.
Yeah.
Up for grabs. Both of them stayed with the belt holder. So that's two things we have to talk about. Mm-hmm. But either way, the third one wasn't a belt fight, but it damn sure felt like one.
Still did, yeah. I mean, it definitely, the hype about it definitely felt like it. And, of course, we're talking about UFC 273 that happened, Saturday, April 9th, obviously a crazy event. And we want to talk about the top 3 events in it, which were, Khamzat Chimaev versus Gilbert Burns. Mm-hmm. And then we had Aljamain Sterling versus Peter Yan. Mm-hmm. And then the last fight was Volkanovski versus the Korean Zombie, San Jung Ying.
And those are great fights, and we might as well hop right into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
We dropped the episode a few days ago doing our predictions, and the first fight that we predicted and the first fight that we want to talk about is Chimaev versus Burns.
Oof. Fight of the night.
Fight of the night, and at this point, fight of the year.
Yeah.
By far.
That's what I was going to say. For me, that was my fight of the year. There's no fight that I've seen this year has been better than this one, honestly.
I was on the edge of my feet from the get-go. And obviously, we were on the edge of our feet because of the hype with the fight. But just even after the first round, basically, Chimaev came in pretty nice. Everyone thought he was gonna walk through Burns, just pretty much destroy him.
That's very true.
I actually went with Burns because I was a little disrespected. I felt disrespected for Burns. Like, these odds are just so bad. Like, he's not gonna get walked.
That's for sure. First of all, the odds were crazy. They were 5-1 on Chimaev's side, which he was 11th ranked and Burns were 2nd ranked.
Yeah, made no sense. Obviously Chimaev still won. But it was no walk in the park. Won by an actual decision. It wasn't a split decision. It was unanimous. Obviously, in my opinion, he did win that fight. And the score was right. It was a 1-point win. And he barely squeaked out of there alive. And it just goes to show that, and like I said in the pre-fight show that we dropped, top 5 to top 10. Whole different ball game.
Different ball game, yeah.
He won there with the top 10. Literally ragged on him in the first round. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that to him, to Burns and Usman. No, he got to Burns and he had to squeak out there with a nice little 1-point decision. And if Burns had anything left in the tank in that third round, he would have definitely come away with that win. So it goes to show it's not that easy when you're up there, but he did show that he can be up there.
Yeah, I mean, that's for sure. And I had, these 3 fights, I was 3-0 on these ones. I definitely picked everyone correctly just to let everybody know. But this one, I will give it. This one was close for some people. A lot of people were looking at, at Burns, especially the second round, it was all his. If you look at the whole fight, in the beginning, they were throwing punches at each other. Obviously, Khamzat definitely looked like the stronger fighter in the first round.
He dropped Burns.
He dropped him, but before he did that, he got him with a left hook, got him all the way to the cage, and then got him with 2 elbows right to his eye, and then Burns' eye started bleeding. And that's when it all started getting bad for Burns, from the beginning. He got a takedown from him, and he was very strong, to get that takedown, but obviously it wasn't enough because Burns was able to get out of it. And I'm surprised that he actually didn't go for more takedowns in this fight. I mean, I would have...
Because at the first takedown he went for, he got punched in the face a couple times.
He did, yeah. He started getting punched. Yeah, he started getting punched on the side. He didn't have no defense
Burns,
when he got him down.
That's the one thing I'll tell you I respected, or I loved about that fight. his coaches kept telling him to go to the takedown, but he even said in the post-fight interview he had to respect that grappling and that jiu-jitsu. And it wasn't necessarily the wrestling, because he honestly probably could have out-wrestled him.
Right.
But Burns on his back is the most dangerous position for you to be
in. That's what I was going to say.
He learned that quite early.
And that's what I was going to say about my prediction. Like, yeah, I got this fight correct, but my prediction was very wrong because I thought this fight was going to be more on the ground. And I thought that, I really thought that Kazma was going to be able to, out-wrestle him, get out-grapple him, be able to get, even a submission on him. But obviously, even Kazma said it after the fight that once he tried to get him down, he noticed that Burns was a lot stronger when he was on his back, and he wasn't able to turn and get any control. So he had to make this a stand-up fight, which I actually I respect a lot. I definitely respect it, and I mean you saw it in the second round. They were actually talking about it. The announcers already said it. This is already Kazma's longest fight, and this was only 6 minutes in, to his second. This is the second minute in the second round, which is the 6th or 7th minute total, which is crazy. And he was able to stay in there. Obviously, the second round was a little iffy for me. I was worried about the second round because he got dropped.
Oh, no, he got dropped twice. That's the thing. So the first round, he dropped Burns, went down with him, literally faced a barrage of punches while he was on top. He was like, what the hell is this? The round ended. He was all right. That's not the best position to be in.
His coaches started yelling at him, and they were they were telling him what are you doing, not going for the takedown?
But that's the thing. But that's the thing. I understand when coaches have their strategy, right. But when you're the fighter, he even said it. He realized that's not his best option. So then he was all right. Let's make this a stand-up fight because I can knock this guy out. I got the reach. I got the length. Then came in the second round and Burns outstruck him, then dropped him twice. And he lost a round. So that's what I'm saying. So what he thought was going to win him the fight, it backfired on him in the second round because Burns won that round and outstruck him significantly.
He definitely did.
And dropped him.
And he changed his southpaw in that fight and in that second round.
He was giving him that looks all fight.
No, in the first he actually round, changed. He was in the regular stance and then he changed in the southpaw in the second round.
I seen southpaw in the first round.
Right around the end of the first round is when he started to change up. But
before he dropped Burns in the first round, I seen a southpaw.
But that whole second round, he was in that southpaw left.
Actually, 100%. The jab that dropped Burns in the first round was from the southpaw stance. I promise you, 100%.
The one that dropped Burns possibly
in the first round.
But this is when they're already on the cage, and that's when he dropped him. Anyways, when they're in the second round, he went straight southpaw from the beginning. And
it didn't work for him.
It didn't work at all. That's what I mean. I thought that he shouldn't have changed at all. I thought he should have kept the same stance, which he changed back in the third round. He went back into his regular stance, and he had way more energy than Burns, obviously. He was able, to move around the ring a little bit more and actually able to push him forward. Because that's the one thing that the judges always look for if they can't figure out, who has, the most control, or especially if these guys are punching each other. Because they were punching each other like crazy, man. This is a fight that people are going to remember for years to come. Because this was a fight that they were going back and forth. But when the judges can't, when it's so close like that, they have to see who's got more control, who's pushing the fight, who's initiating the contact. And I think that was definitely, Kazma. And I give it to him that he was able to stick in there with Burns because Burns was throwing some haymakers too at some time.
Well, yeah, it definitely went into round 3, 1-1 easily.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And obviously at that point, it was about who wanted it more. And both of them were tired, but Kazma had a little more. And even though Burns got a chance to finish with a barrage of punches towards the end, he spent most of the first 2 minutes of that that third round pretty much taking more hits.
Getting pushed around, getting hit.
So Kazma definitely won that third round. That's what I said. It was definitely a 1-point win. The score was right. We're going to talk about that because we got some controversy in the other fights with scores. But at that point, it was a great fight. But yeah, he definitely pulled it out. And like I said, two things. Obviously, one, he impressed me by showing me that, yes, he is a top contender and he is ready to stay with the big boys. 2, he learned that he's not human. And the rest of them learned that he's not human.
Yeah.
Because some of those
that he is human, you mean?
Oh, yeah, that he is human.
Right.
He learned that he's human, and some of them learned that he's human.
Right.
And one thing that definitely let me know is he thought, let me get Gilbert and then walk right next to Kamaru. I could do them both in the same night if you want me to.
That's what he was thinking.
He thought that. Not like at that point, you got to convince me you could beat Colby Covington before you can get Kamaru.
Yeah, I mean, you saw by the end of the fight with Burns, his face was beat up,
and he was tired. And that's saying you go up against the champ. If you don't get it done in that first 3,
yeah, I mean,
you got 2 more.
That's a 5-rounder in the championship round. This was like I said, this was his longest.
He barely beat a gas Gilbert Burns in a 3-rounder.
Like, he was yes, he was gassed, but he was the number 2 contender in this division. Plus, this was Kazmat's longest fight, so you got to give him some credit.
That's what I'm saying. I give him credit, but at the same time,
he never had a 3rd round.
He showed that he's not he's not invincible.
That's for sure, and I think he even said that at the end. Like he was a lot more respectful to Gilbert Burns. He even said, Gilbert, showed how strong he was. I didn't know how strong he was gonna be. That's what he said in the post-fight interview. He was like, I didn't know how strong he was gonna be. I wasn't expecting that, and I definitely think that he's a little bit more humble. After this fight, but at that same sense, he sees himself with the top boys. So I think we should
contender for sure.
And I think that's what we should go into, and we should look at, what's next for him. What's next for Kazmat after this fight? Great win with a number 2 contender.
Easy. Exactly what I said beforehand. Nobody gets a shot at the champ unless they walk through Colby Covington. Simple as that. He got to go Colby. Leon and Usman is pretty much set in stone. Yeah.
Most likely, not set in stone, but most likely, because a lot of people are saying that Leon might not be ready for that fight.
How?
They're saying that it's just that he's not ready somehow. I don't know. Like injury or something. There's been a lot of talk, because even last night they were saying after the fight they were talking about if if possibly Leon's not ready. Like they were asking him if Kazma's gonna hop in. They were like, yeah, he's ready. I'm ready whenever. Because I think they were saying there's a possibility that Leon could go for surgery, which I don't know if he wants to do. I'm not sure the details. I don't know what injury
I'll be honest. I remember reading about that injury, and I thought it was already a done deal that he decided no.
I thought it was that they were just waiting for Usman. That's what I thought. He just
want his fight.
I thought it was set in stone too, but once I heard this last night, I was just like a little iffy. But for me, I'm with you. I think Colby Covington is the fight.
I still think that's a great fight because Colby got good stand-up game, and that's someone else where you have to respect his wrestling.
That's going to be a crazy matchup because I do think
that he can out-grapple Colby.
Well, I think he's also a better striker than Burns. I think Colby's a better striker than Burns. Yeah. I do.
I think Colby's the number 1 contender for a reason.
But I think that Burns has a better chin than Colby though, because the stuff that he was taking, man, yesterday. Oh my god.
So that's the thing. I'll be honest. If we put Colby and Kazmat, I'll choose Kazmat.
I would probably choose Kazmat with a TKO as well.
Because Colby got a weak chin.
But I do think that they'll be going, face to face. It'll be a face to face fight. It'll be definitely similar to that Burns fight. I mean, Burns, man, he definitely took a beating last night as well, and got to give it to him. I mean, I don't know what's next for him.
It seemed like he's one of those fights where you raise stock when you lose, and he showed once again that he's tough. And like I said, a lot of people thought he was about to get walked through, which was so disrespectful for the number 2 contender. Right. So now at this point,
I don't think he loses that much in the rankings.
I think he fight winner of Muhammad Bilal.
I was just gonna say, and Brandon Luke. And Luke, yeah. I think that Luke versus Muhammad is happening next
week. So whoever wins that, perfectly set up to fight Burns next.
Yep. So
because they're not getting a
shot. So wait, you're saying the winner of that
fights Burns.
Finds Burns. Okay, yeah. I agree. Yeah, the winner of that finds Burns, and I think that we both got it the same way that Colby's gonna have to fight Kazmat, even though
that's Colby's only chance
to get back in the belt. To get back in the belt. Yeah, for sure.
If he could beat the upcomer fresh meat and literally say like, I'm literally the only one.
I broke his streak.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the only way he's getting a chance at the belt. So that's a fight he wants too.
True. But if there's any other fight that I'm looking at is if somehow Edwards doesn't take the fight with Usman.
They'll throw Kazmat in there.
Kazmat's going in for sure. It's not going to be Colby. That's
for sure. No. They will throw Kazmat in there, especially since he just beat Burns.
Yeah. I mean,
the only way, they might really just say, hey, I understand.
Muhammad
that's what I'm saying. They might say, we both been working our way up.
For it, and we fought at the same time.
Yeah, you can't let this man skip us. So, and then they fight next week, so the timetable for all 3 of them to be off.
I just don't see that.
I still think they're going to throw Kazmat. But we can't say. We got to say. Because right now, I think that since Colby fought last month as well, that Colby versus Covington is a chance for the UFC to make more money.
Covington was Kazmat.
Exactly, to get that out the way before you, because in most people's head, Kazmat's gonna win before you let him fight Usman. Let's make that publicity alone. It's gonna be
huge.
Exactly.
It's gonna be huge, and it's gonna be interesting because honestly, Colby's hated, but then again, Kazmat's not really known, and not
you
many
already
people
know
really...
both of them in their trash talking. So I think
exactly.
that even
if I think that'd be an interesting fight.
I think that they might, and that's the thing too. Yeah, I understand. No one might want to see Usman versus
Leon.
Or no, Usman versus Bilal.
Oh,
or Usman
okay,
versus Vincent.
Versus Luke.
But at the end of the day, that like I said, that can still get Usman another win, prolong his title defense, get the Kazmat versus Covington out the way, and still set up the fight for Kazmat versus Usman.
I don't think that's happening. I don't think at all, honestly. I think the only two things that can happen is Leon Edwards or Kazmat. Yeah. That's the only thing that can happen, honestly. Yeah. And honestly, I think that Kazmat versus Colby is almost a sure thing because we even heard Dana White.
He wants that too. That's what I'm saying. I already knew, and anyone knows because Dana White and anyone said, like, if there wasn't a guy named Kamaru Usman in this division, Colby Covington would be the champion.
Well, of course.
So
no one's Kamaru's just been tearing everybody up.
No one's going to get to Kamaru, though.
Yeah, they probably have to.
Colby.
That's true.
You have to fight Colby, 100%.
But still, I mean, give it up for Kazmat for going through this guy, in decent fashion, and he took his own in a three-round matchup. It wasn't a championship round or championship matchup with 5 rounds. But
that's another thing too. Right there lets me know he don't have the tank right now.
But I do believe no. Here's the thing. I think that his next fight is definitely 100% gonna be a 5-rounder. 100%.
They might, but what I think. But I'm saying, but like, he's gonna have 6 months or 4 months.
Yeah,
to train for
at least 4 to 6. At least 4 to 6.
But what he thought he was bringing to the table last night.
No, he needs to step it up.
That's what I'm saying. That's not a 5-round stand-up.
I agree. Because he needs to listen to his coaches more because he was definitely his coaches were telling him the whole fight, go for the takedowns.
That I won't agree with because, like I said, of course, when you take down Burns and you're on top, like literally. He gave him a slicing elbow. And still ate 3 to 4 punches.
He was beating him up, but of course the fighter knows best. But
and that's what I'm saying.
You still have to go for the takedown and just like
he didn't even take
scare
any
him.
Shots,
you got to scare him a little bit. Go for a takedown, let him go. Go for, scare him a little bit. Just to at least you give him a little bit more incentive to like play some defense.
Because I'll be honest, he definitely could have got takedowns easily.
Yeah, I mean, he was a stronger fight in the first round. He actually picked up Gilbert and he put him to the other side. But I'll be interested to see what happens with him in a championship matchup. And speaking of championship matchups, I mean...
First belt up for the night.
The next one was crazy. Yeah, the next fight of the night was amazing.
Obviously, I'll be honest. I got this one wrong, and I'm not even mad. I'll be honest. After the first round, I was rooting for the person that I definitely didn't
bet. You got wrong. And we're talking about Aljamain Sterling versus Peter Yan. And this was a championship matchup. And actually, both guys had a championship belt. One was interim champion. The other guy was a bantamweight championship champion this year. So what did you think about this fight, man? This was an interesting fight. I mean, I had this one correct. And he was the underdog. Obviously, Aljamain Sterling was the underdog. But this fight was very close. Everyone had it very close.
Oh, yeah. Another disrespectful... betting line
for sure
when it comes to underdogs.
Yeah, it was 3-1.
Everyone just because, and that's the thing. Remember, I said it. While I 100%, I still picked Yan, but I still defended the point that you can have an off night. Yeah, and that was the worst that we seen from Sterling.
Oh, I can't say that. No, because I think the last time that
no,
that he fought,
I'm talking about the last time.
Oh, the previous time.
In the previous episode, I said this. I was like, even though I'm picking Yan,
right?
I still defended the fact that 1 for 17.
Oh, you mean the last time was the worst we saw.
Him getting gassed out like that. Like I definitely said, yes, he still looked like he lost, but I can understand when you just come out flat.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not the Sterling that got him to that position.
Right.
So I was like, and that's the one thing you said that he's gonna learn from that, and he definitely did. He came out a lot less aggressive, and honestly. Use Jan's aggressiveness for him. There was a lot of controversy about these rounds, about the score, about a lot of things.
And we'll definitely get into it.
So we can just pretty much break it down. And basically, it was a 5-rounder, went to decision, split decision in Aljamain's favor. Round 1 was the one that had most of the controversy. Round 2 and 3 was Sterling. round 4 and 5
4
was
and 5
Jan.
was Jan.
Simple as that. It's the one round, that round 1, that a lot of people don't agree with what happened.
And honestly, that round, I just started up right now. That round was very slow. Very slow. Very slow.
Like,
you really didn't
throw much.
Exactly, and it's hard for judges to like figure out who can really if you don't throw many punches. Like they each threw 8 significant punches that round, which is like nothing. That usually guys throw like at least 16 to 30. Like,
and that's the thing. Without the so basically it came down to Jan was applying the pressure, but didn't actually throw any punches, while Sterling was getting backed up, kind of lapping around the cage. Exactly. He basically threw a little more, or landed a little more on Jan, even if it was 1 or 2 punches more.
It was a few more, but
just literally a few honestly, more, because he even landed like 1 or 2 kicks.
He did land kicks. That's what it was. That's true. But the initiator was Jan, though. If you think about it, he was the one pushing the fight a little bit forward.
He wasn't the initiator. He was walking someone down and not throwing nothing.
He wasn't throwing them, but he was pushing them down towards making them move around the cage, making them
But that don't mean nothing if you're not throwing a punch.
But honestly, neither one was. Like they both had the same.
But at the day, that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, Aljamain more than once at a certain point, put his foot down, threw a kick, threw a punch, and at that point, Jan tried to hit back off of.
Back, yep.
But you can't walk, and that's the thing. That's where the controversy was. A lot of people felt like since Jan was walking him down in such a low active round that he won that round. What 2 of the judges believe, and what I believe, was that Sterling won that first round barely.
Oh, he
barely.
Honestly, he barely won it. He did get a few more. He got a few more significant strikes, especially the kicks.
The kicks helped.
He definitely did, because obviously with the kicks he got up to 17 significant strikes, which that definitely helped him. The percentages of strikes were a little bit more on Jan's favor, but. With the kicks, I think that Sterling is the one that
Jan literally probably threw 10 punches that whole round.
You are right. He did. Yeah, and then Aljamain threw 17, which is not that much more, but it's like he
landed some.
The thing is like
when you
what
both
do you look
not
at
doing
as a
nothing
judge?
As a judge, and that's what I'm saying. At such an active round, well, literally at that point when you're not even throwing more punches than the person you're chasing down, I don't care that you're chasing him down. You're just walking him down.
Forward. I got you.
And now, mind you, Jan was hitting some great fucking angles.
That's true.
He was really stopping.
That's true. He stopped him.
Jan, and in my head, I'm like,
moved. He stopped.
In my head, I'm like, Jan's really doing, but he didn't throw nothing.
And that's where I agree with you. I think that's where was his problem. If he was walking and actually throwing some jabs.
He threw 4 more punches.
Throw some jabs.
4 or 5 more punches that first round.
Nothing was
He won that fight.
Oh man, and that's where
he had those chances.
He did, yeah, he did.
He had those, but he thought, I got all night. Let me download. Let me try to. But Aljamain knew that was coming.
He did. No, he
did. And then instead of being aggressive, let Jan walk them down, tag them a few times, just enough to win the round. Aljamain came to play a 5-rounder.
5-rounder, yeah.
He knew exactly what it was going to be.
And you know what? I had this one right because I kind of knew that this was going to go that way. I felt like they were going to feel it. I felt like it was going to go to decision. I thought they were going to feel each other out, too. I knew that they were going to walk around a little bit because I knew it wasn't going to be like the last one where the first fight, they were going at it in the first round, and they lost it. Like by the third and fourth, they were like, definitely getting tired. This one was a lot different. And the second round, Sterling showed it. Sterling came in. He got takedowns. He was able to get control. He definitely used his length to his advantage. And this is one thing that I said in our pre-show is that his length was a huge help in this fight. He was able to grapple around Jan's back, and then once he got around his back, able to get his hand around his throat and able to hold control like that. Most of the second round, which was amazing for him.
So now, we just told you the first round was controversy because some people scored Sterling, some people scored Jan.
Yep.
Now, everyone else had it 2-3 Sterling, 4-5 Jan. Mm-hmm. The other controversy was the scoring of round 2.
Yeah.
Some people, Jan could have had round 1. Okay.
When one judge did give him round 1.
Exactly.
One judge gave him a 9-8.
But that can still give the case that when you go into round 2, take them down in the first minute, the first 30 seconds, have over 2 minutes of ground control in that round with constant threat of punch and submissions where the guy couldn't get away from you the whole round.
Exactly.
How is that not a 10-8 round?
Thank you.
So even if you say Jan won that first round, last round should have still been that second round should have been a 10-8.
You got to look at the difference between round one and round two.
He didn't get submitted or he wasn't damaging the punches. Jan was absolutely useless that whole round. Exactly.
But you have to look at the difference between round one and round two and score that accordingly. And even if the first round was 9-8, the second round has to be 10-8. And that's my whole point. Or sorry,
and if some of them are willing to give the first round 9-8 to Jan, how is the second round not a 10-8?
That's one thing that the judges are gonna have to answer to, and honestly, it's
I've
weird
seen worse 10-8s been given out.
And to be honest,
that was an ass whooping.
I would have to say that the second and third round have to be judged that way because
third round was damn near close to a 10-8 too.
The way that Sterling was going at it, he was on Jan's back as well. At that point, everyone thought that Sterling was taking care of business. The people that thought that he took him in the first round thought that this was a 3-0 at that point. Some people definitely had it, a little different. Even one of the judges actually had the first round score different. But let's talk about fourth and fifth round was definitely a lot different.
And that's where Jan shows that he got that championship caliber.
Yeah.
He pretty much busted open, and I don't know. And that's another thing too. For looking so good the first three, Sterling once again came out flat that fourth round. It really seemed like he did nothing or wanted to do nothing but go for them takedowns. Those shots were so fucking weak. Like, bro, Jan seen him just coming every single time, took his back,
he
stopped
definitely
him, held him down.
Got the bear crawl on him.
It was honestly, after seeing the first three, it was pretty, sad to see what Sterling was trying to do in the fourth.
He was doing the same exact thing. Yeah,
he didn't want to stand up. He didn't want to stand up with Jan. And here's the thing. I don't blame him. As a fighter, you pick and choose what's your strength, what's your weaknesses. He did not want to stand up with Jan. And that's where Jan took the advantage in the fourth round, became busier, took his back for most of that round. Same thing. Jan wasn't doing much damage or even throwing any punches. He was just basically trying to stay behind him just so he can stay in that controlling position and win that round. Because maybe in his head, this will make it a 2-2. Making it, what I'm saying?
That's what he honestly thought.
That's what he thought. He just stood over him and didn't try to punish anything because he wanted to keep control.
There was definitely get that round back. He definitely got a few elbows on him, when he had control, and also
but anytime Sterling will move his arm, y'all will run to the other side because he didn't want Sterling to get his arm. Once that was gonna happen, it was gonna be more grappling, more scrambling. So he just basically scrambled behind him for a minute, just.
But it was still good to see a difference between the first two rounds, him being on the ground that whole time, the second and third round, and then this fourth round, him standing up, being able to take control of the fight a little bit more.
He was fresh, but I feel like even though it was weak attempts, the constant threat of being shot at kept Jan where he couldn't get his combos off like he wanted.
He didn't, but he still got more shots than Sterling that round, and I think that that's why he won the round. He definitely had the round. It wasn't that many, but it was 18-8 significant strikes for Jan. So that's where he took the round. And obviously, even if you don't have much and you're just moving around and just picking your shots, as long as you get one or two good shots, it looks good. It looks good on TV.
That was a dominant. It looks not good dominant as an 10-8.
No,
but coming from getting beat up for 2 straight rounds, that was a fantastic comeback round for Jan.
He was getting clean shots. He wasn't getting blocked. He was getting clean shots to his face.
Sterling was scared.
Yeah,
Sterling was scared.
He was backing up a little bit too. And then the fifth round,
he did the same thing.
Same thing. Honestly, it looked like
just
he was going to push
from
him.
Jan.
Exactly.
Less hitting.
A lot less hitting. In the fourth round, it was 40 punches, only 18 significant strikes for Jan. And then in the fifth round, he brought it down to 37 punches. But there was a lot more significant strikes, and that was the kicks for Jan.
Yeah.
He was able to kick and then move. He was able to move Sterling back more. Actually keep him at length because Sterling's so long that if he's able to jab you, then you're in trouble. Once he gets those jabs in,
he didn't even use his boxing like he should have. But that's the thing.
He didn't.
I felt like he just, and I don't want to say scared because at the end of the day, if I'm an all-around fighter and I'm going up against someone who's known as basically one of the best purebred boxers in the UFC. We about to grapple all night.
Right. See, to me,
it's not scary. It's tactic.
To me, I think this was his tactic. I think he knew in his mind that he won rounds 1 through 3. That's what in his mind he saw. He won rounds 1 through 3, and then he wanted to take it slow, take it easy, back up a little bit.
He started getting caught.
And he started getting caught. And he wasn't sure that, he wasn't, after a few, he was like,
he was kind of looking up at his coaches, looking at the time.
He was like, wait,
and I don't know if they were telling him if he was, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Towards the end, it kind of got like, damn, I kind of might have lost her.
Right.
I could see he kind of regretted. In that whole point, Jan's still on his back.
That's true.
And like, I kind of could see it.
Still waiting, yeah.
Yeah, I could kind of see it in his face. It's like, boy, I'm like, bro, you got 30 seconds then. Like, do something.
Do something,
like,
right. Don't be looking up at the time. What you
literally,
looking at the time for? Punch, do something.
But he didn't
finish it off.
But
I don't think neither of them did. But honestly, great fight overall. It was definitely a great fight. Even I think better than the first one, obviously, because the first one ended in a terrible fashion.
And a more competitive one.
More competitive, and actually you got to see what both of these guys have. Not really all around, because you did get to see some of the grappling from for Sterling and his ground game from the back, but you never really got to see control from the top of any guy. Jan never got top control. Sterling never got top control, so you never got to see like overall what they can do, and that leads me to like. After this fight, Sterling won this. He's got the championship belt, the interim championship. I think it just goes away. Yep. Yeah. So now, what happens with him? Like, what fight does he take next?
You heard him.
I mean, I know what I heard.
T.J. Dillashaw.
That's what I heard.
T.J. Everything under the sun.
So that's what you got. So you got T.J. Dillashaw for the next fight for him.
I told you it was gonna be one of those. He's a great name in the division, great fighter.
So too.
A chance for him to become a 3-time champ. Like, I think it's a great fight.
For me, I think, I'm going to be honest, I think that Dillashaw would be the fight, but if I was just to go on a limb and just think about possibly what the UFC could do, I think it could be a trilogy fight with Jan. Even though he didn't win this fight, even though he didn't win the first fight, because this one was pretty close.
Which I don't agree with, but Dana did say the judge got
it wrong.
I don't agree with that.
That's what I was just going to say.
But Dana did not like that decision.
Dana White came on and said, I think the judges got it wrong. And I don't know how he said that, because you're going against
someone that close.
Well, no, you're going against your own judges. You never would you imagine the commissioner?
No, I would. Like, there's been times where they've been so trash where Dana has no choice but they got it wrong.
Can you imagine the commissioner of the NFL going out and saying these refs were wrong? It's not going to be that way. It's going to be the refs, going out after the game and saying they were wrong themselves. It's not going to be the commissioner.
The UFC operates differently. These are independent contractors, so they're going to be like, these motherfuckers they didn't do their job tonight.
I know. But I agree, because they're from the Nevada Commission or the Florida Commission of
to.
I agree.
I don't think he should have said something like that for such a close fight.
That was very close, but I don't think he should have said it.
Everyone knew that first round was because I remember going into that second
For me,
I don't know.
For me, it was a close fight, but I don't think this was that close of a fight where he had to say that.
That's what I'm saying.
There was way more closer fights back in the day.
That's my point. Yes, it was a close fight, but it wasn't no one got robbed.
Yes, exactly.
No one got robbed.
There was way more robberies back in the day from the UFC where
any unbiased person should have watched that fight and should have felt like whoever won should have been like, okay, I see it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it was that close of a fight. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand how it was that close, and he just say like, oh no, this person should have won. Like,
right?
How?
So that's literally the only reason why I say it could be a trilogy. Plus, the UFC likes to make money, and a trilogy would make sense for them to make some money. Obviously the other one, Dillashaw versus Jan. Versus Sterling. The one thing that obviously everyone was saying is that both of these guys are hated. Dillashaw is very hated, and so is Sterling. I don't know why Sterling is hated, because he's got a good personality, but I don't know why he's hated in the UFC and in circles.
And it's crazy because he tried to not take being the champion, so he tried to take a step back. I understand it goes to DQ, but then everyone will have to jump.
Even he said it.
He was getting your ass kicked. You should never took that. Blah blah blah. He's like, bro, what do you want me to do?
Right, I'm not gonna say no to the championship.
Literally.
Plus, he even said that night, he was like, I want to right now say that I want a rematch with him.
And then at a certain point, he was like, fuck it, y'all hate me so much. Guess what, nigga? I got the fucking belt.
Now I got it for real. Fair and square.
And then he someone, I remember in the post, it was like, I don't understand how you get kneed and become the hated person in the situation.
I know, that's true. Kneed in the back of the head too. So that's the worst. But I mean, still, it was a very close fight where a lot of people this day and age would like to see a third fight. Back in the day, there was not that many trilogies. We've even talked about this in a few episodes prior, how trilogies didn't happen back in the day that much, and now they're actually happening a lot. So I don't know. That could be another one. So it's either Dillashaw or Jan again.
So I want to say, yeah. Because just seeing this again just kind of lets you know that it still could have been anyone's fight, that first one.
Right.
The way it was back and forth, it was almost the same thing that happened.
Very similar.
So it made you think, like, damn, that fight could have really went anyone's way. So the fact that this man really got two, not I'll say wins, but basically two.
I mean, it was very close. It was each fight was very close.
But I think T.J. Dillashaw's a good fight to make, though.
I think that he's been waiting for Sterling now, waiting to try to get the belt. And
a lot of people had to wait until that DQ thing happened.
I know.
Because they had to make a whole.
Because they had to do a rematch. They had to, though.
They had to, and then they made a whole IC belt with Corey Sandhagen before the
because
rematch.
Sterling wasn't ready.
Exactly.
Sterling wasn't ready to fight at that time. Exactly. So they had to give Peter somebody to fight.
I think and then I don't even know what's next for Peter.
That's the thing with him. He's gonna have to wait a bit.
He's gonna have to wait to fight the loser.
Yeah.
Like if T.J. Dillashaw lose. Maybe if he beats another top 3 contender, maybe he gets another shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean...
and if T.J. Dillashaw wins, then he probably gets the next shot.
I mean, that'd be interesting.
So I think he gets
honestly,
one more fight
unless somebody like, unless he wants to fight somebody like Jose Aldo, that'd be interesting.
No, I was saying he probably could fight one of those like top 3 contenders and wait for it. If he fight a top 3 contender, he's next in line for the belt.
And Devashili, he's a top 5. He's got a fight coming up, I know, on a fight night, I think in a few weeks, and he's going to be fighting. So if he wins his next fight, then he's probably going to move up in the rankings at least 1 or 2, and we'll see.
Yeah, so we'll see him fight one more time this year.
For sure. But speaking of championships, from one champion, Aljamain Sterling, to another guy in a different division that was tearing up his division, Alexander Volkanovski. I mean, him going up against the Korean Zombie. What a great fight for Volkanovski to show off his skills, honestly. It was, honestly, for this fight...
Almost flawless.
Flawless showing by him. And he showed why he's the best in his division.
Prolific.
Honestly, it was. And
prolific.
From the first round, like, his fast hand speed was amazing. He had his jab was going. He was just way too much for the Korean Zombie. He had amazing combos. He was throwing leg kicks, staying back as well. He even pushed the Korean Zombie a few times when he got too close to him. Korean Zombie tried to get a few jabs, and he just literally pushed him back, which was crazy.
He either almost got dropped or did get dropped anytime Volkanovski threw something with power.
He definitely felt his knees wobble a bit.
Every single time he threw a power shot,
that's for sure.
When you see him actually cop back for a good one,
that's
Zombie
for sure.
either got dropped or did a little dance.
The accuracy was crazy. Volkanovski's accuracy was amazing, and Zombie just really couldn't move. His head was just moving exactly where Volkanovski's punches were going. Not away from them, but towards his punches.
I tell you,
which was, and this is what I thought too.
The counter punching.
Mm-hmm.
He feints you into making a move, and he knows what you're gonna do to react to that move.
Right.
That's what he said. He's throwing punches where he knew Zombie was gonna be.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Definitely. He was very aware of where Zombie was gonna be.
He do something before that punch
and
to make Zombie move in that way.
And those were the jabs. The jabs were unstoppable. He threw the jabs, 1, 2. And then throw the combos, and that's where he was going for.
So that cross is what dropped him in the third.
Yeah.
When that little one jab,
and then
right through with that cross.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what got him down. And honestly, in the third round, this was a prolific round for Volkanovski. He just showed off his skill.
After that cross, he did ground and pound.
Ground and pound all over. And honest, I will be honest, I thought that should have been it. I thought it should have been stopped towards the end of the third round. Obviously, the refs didn't stop it. They looked over at his corner, Zombie's corner. They went over and looked at him. The doctor didn't really say nothing.
No, listen, I don't understand. I need to know where the UFC is hiring these fucking doctors.
And why are you letting this happen?
Why?
This is not good.
It makes it makes no sense.
You gotta at least look at him correctly.
Can you see, doctor? Yeah, he could see.
Gotta open his whole eye up 3 inches. What do you mean? What the hell is this? And
it makes no sense.
And I'm gonna be honest. It's good that they actually in the fourth round, Volkanovski did get a few punches, but it is good that the ref came in.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That after the ref, he usually got hit after 4 more punches. The ref's like, okay, let's no.
And
he's like, I'm not about to watch this for another 2 minutes.
I'll be honest. What he looked for is if Korean Zombie could go in and get 1 or 2 punches, hard punches, and he couldn't. And I'm glad that this happened because a few fights ago, There was a fight that happened where the refs just.
That's the one I'm referring to. Literally, it's like, can you see? The ref
Yep.
opened up his eye and said he can see. And I'm like, how?
And if you remember, they let him fight in the 4th and 5th round. That guy, and the ref actually let him go. And this one, they probably got told, beforehand. Obviously not.
No, a lot of people, made a big deal questioning that last fight because it was literally his eye was shut after the 3rd round, and they let him go. It was RDA.
Yep.
Fighting Moicano on a short notice.
Exactly who was those.
And Moicano had a 5 days notice, and he did not have the tank to go a 5-rounder, and they let him go all 5 rounds, getting beat up.
Should have got taken out in the 4th round and going into the 5th round, but 100%. They let him go. They were like, we want to see it. You want to see a little bit. They didn't say that to Sung Jung, but they did
he's
say
a zombie.
He is a zombie. That's what he's known for.
And it's been a while since we've seen him get beat up like that.
And that's a crazy thing about him. He didn't get knocked out.
He don't.
The knockout happened by punches, but he actually didn't.
That's why he's a zombie.
He wasn't knocked out.
Because he would stay up walking, like, he would literally continue.
My man's chin is ridiculous. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like he gets concussed, like, 30 times a fight, but somehow he stays in there. Obviously, when you get beat up like that, it's a little sad and to see, especially in his age, going into
35.
Yeah, going into like the later age in his career. But let's talk about it. What's next for Sun Jung? Because this was a prolific fight for Volkanovski, and we'll talk about him in a little bit. What's next for Sun Jung? Do you think? What do you think?
I mean, honestly, there's really got to be one clear answer. My man, go raise those children.
Damn. And I love his personality.
You will continue to stay top 5
good father
for the next 3 years, but you will never
move up
get
to the belt.
Chance at a belt.
Mm.
Everyone's
and
younger,
does he want
fresher,
to though?
faster.
Does he want another chance?
That's what I'm saying. You're gonna get beat up to get there. You're gonna get beat up while you're in there because you're gonna have to face either Volkanovski or Max Holloway. It took you almost 13 years just to get your second chance.
Well, I don't think not just them. He's gonna have to fight one other guy
or Brian Ortega.
And Brian Ortega. Exactly.
You're not beating none of them.
Nope. I don't see that.
It's over. It's over.
And honestly, that's where I go with it. I do think he's gonna stay in there, maybe get 1 or 2 more fights, but I think he will look for fighters that are lower ranked, possibly in the bottom half of the top 10 ranking.
Remember, this fight was supposed to be Max Holloway.
It was, and he couldn't fight this fight.
And so
it was supposed to be his fight.
He opted in.
If you remember, like, this was supposed to be his fight for 3 months because this was supposed to happen 2 UFCs ago, in UFC 271, and then Max Holloway couldn't fight then, and then they moved this one up to 273, and now they switched fighters, obviously, and I mean, obviously, Max has been waiting for a long time to fight for that belt. He was injured and stuff. And let's talk about Volkanovski a little bit. What's the next fight for him? Because for me,
it's clearly Max Holloway. But Max got his work cut out for him.
So let's talk about that a little bit. Do you think that there's a chance that he can win, Max Holloway?
Yeah.
Yeah?
No, it's going to be a fantastic fight.
Wow, see,
but at this point, Volkanovski just showed us that he's a better boxer than Max Holloway.
Way better boxer. And honestly,
I think he's a better ground. Volkanovski, I'll still back him and have him winning, but that is about to be because Max Holloway is just. So here's the thing: Max Holloway is about to be a faster version of the Korean Zombie. What I mean by that is he's gonna have faster hands, faster combos, but he's gonna be hard to put away.
And listen, he's definitely gotten better since he's fought Volkanovski last time. But just like we just talked about,
Volkanovski definitely gonna win.
But just like we talked about Sterling and Jan, like Sterling beat Jan twice, but it's a different fight. The way that Volkanovski beat Max Holloway twice was unstoppable wins. Like you saw how much better he was in this division. And I think that if this happens for a 3rd time trilogy, I think it's gonna be Volkanovski.
Oh no, it will be.
But
I still think it's a good fight.
I think it's a decent
fight.
Max
Holloway knockout in the 3rd round.
Yeah, I think it's a decent fight. I think it will just be a Volkanovski. Yeah, Volkanovski will knock Max Holloway out.
It's gonna be competitive back and forth for the first couple of rounds because Max Holloway is hard to put away.
Yeah,
it's gonna
he's definitely hard to put away. He's got a good chin too.
It's gonna be like the Korean Zombie. It's gonna be a stand-up fight of just throwing combo after combo. But obviously, Max is gonna be a lot more prolific at throwing combos.
He's more agile. He's able to move around more to the side. I feel like
eventually he's gonna just take just 1 or 2 punches.
The one thing about the Korean Zombie, he doesn't move side to side a lot. He definitely moves forward and back. But I think Max Holloway does that a lot more. He moves side to side with his legs. So I think it will be a decent fight. But for me, I think it's Volkanovski. And the last question that I really wanted to ask is, man, this division, the Volkanovski's going through everybody in this division pretty much. Is he like one of the best, in this division that you've ever seen?
No, he
So
pretty much is like 4 away.
Yeah.
From the Anderson Silva's record.
Yeah, so he's got 21 wins in a row, and he extended his streak to 11 in the UFC. And Anderson Silva's record is 16 in a row in the UFC. So you got 5 fights left but he's just up there with guys like Nurmagomedov, like he's up there with some of the top guys that you've ever heard with Royce Gracie. That's who he tied right now, 11 wins, just like Royce
he's
Gracie.
Definitely right now he's shown that he's. And now mind you, that's been a stacked division.
It was.
That's Henry Cejudo's division.
Yep, he's fourth right now.
That's what I'm saying. T.J. Dillashaw, two-time bantamweight champion. And we thought when Henry Cejudo went up and became a 2-time champion, that was amazing. A lot of people don't give the small guy their credit. He basically shown that he is going to be known as one of the. If he's really about to be known as probably the best.
He wants to be the
best bantamweight.
He wants to be,
of all time.
Oh, you're talking about yeah.
Well, he's gonna be known as one of the GOATs.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about specifically that division because that division itself is where Henry Cejudo, the first 2-time UFC champion, came from.
Yeah.
That division is where T.J. Dillashaw, the
Ortega.
2-time champion. That division is for Max Holloway Ortega.
And he beat
Max
him all.
Holloway is already known as a legend in that division. So right now,
and he's a legend
that he's about to be known as the best to ever step foot in that division.
He's already is the best. He already cemented himself as
he is, but it's still gonna be controversial.
It's
because Henry Cejudo and Max Holloway alone, those 2 resumes are stacked. And now, mind you, people hate Henry, and you can hate him all you want. Like the man had the skills that paid the bills.
Yeah, but Volkanovski beat Max Holloway twice.
Oh, yeah,
we don't need to see it. We saw how much better he is.
I think
He's beaten Ortega. He's literally went through the top 4 or 5 in this division.
Making it look easy.
Making it look very easy. He's only lost 1 fight and hasn't lost in the UFC in his career. 11 fights in the UFC. So I think that there's nobody right now in the near future that I see. If I'm looking at the rankings, obviously, in the top 10, they could obviously go with him. The only guy that could really go with him is a possible fight with Ortega. I know that the Max Holloway fight is going to happen. They're possibly talking about a 3rd fight with Volkanovski. But I think that Ortega fight should happen, like a second Ortega fight.
That was a good fight.
It was. It was a decent fight, and it went, to decision. So that's the only other fight that I could, actually see a different fight instead of just watching Max Holloway again getting beat up by Volkanovski.
Max Holloway is going to be a good fight because of the name, but at this point, no one got the skills to keep up with him. Yeah.
I mean, the only other guys is Yair Rodriguez. He has a great record, obviously, right now.
Ready.
He's not ready yet. He's not. He needs another fight. I think the next fight for him.
He needs 3 more fights.
I think the next fight will have to be Ortega. He's already ranked pretty high. He's the 3rd ranked right now.
He could be ranked all he wants.
Well, he moved up because of the Korean Zombie.
Ready. That's what I'm saying. He could be ranked 3, but he needs more experience.
So they're talking about Qatar and Rodriguez right now.
Yes, that would be a great fight.
The only other guy that they were talking about was Arnold Allen for Volkanovski, and he's not ready yet either. So honestly, I think we're both in agreement where it has to be a guy like Max Holloway.
Honestly, ain't no one else with the talent enough to fight him.
Yeah, but for me, it's not going to be interesting, and I'm going to be disappointed to watch that because
it can't be a main.
No, I don't. It's going to be. It's going to have to be a co. It's got to be a co-main, because it's a championship. It can't be
the main of a co-main.
Right, exactly. It can't be the top fight.
Yeah.
But overall, man, what a great card. Honestly, from the bottom of the card, even the preliminaries were nice.
Yeah, great day.
Great fights. Obviously, you had the women's division as well. Tisha Torres and Mackenzie. They balled out. Mackenzie was looking amazing. And then, obviously, the top 3 fights where we saw Chimaev won it. Then you had Sterling that won it. And Volkanovski took care of business. What a great card.
Yes.
And we want to thank you guys for watching this episode. And, if you guys want to watch us on YouTube, you guys can check us out wherever you get your podcasts as well if you want to listen to us. If you guys want to, put some comments down wherever you find us, you can go ahead.
Of course, you know how it is. We got social media everywhere. We love interacting, commenting, and talking with our fans. Mm-hmm. We love the support and love that you guys show us. We hope that you stay with us, and we got a lot of good content coming your way.
That's right, and we really appreciate you guys. And again, if you just want to find us, please go ahead and check us out on Who You Got with
Mello
and Rado. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.